Hey, what's going on? How we been feeling today?
Uh, yeah, nah, not
Nah,
great.
not
Nah,
great. So last
not,
week we talked about some of the troubles that you've been having.
yeah.
Talking about some financial issues, let your job letting you go. You're kind of feeling pretty down about it. So can you report to me a little bit about how the past week has been?
I've like tried to look for more jobs, but I keep running into this same issue that they all want a college degree, and I've been working since right out of high school at a company, and I like don't feel like it's possible. So I kind of feel like I just maybe should. I don't know. I'm just lost.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Yeah, I feel you. Um, I can totally understand those emotions. You've had all this experience, being a manager, really doing the same thing, but all of a sudden they're needing college education, even though you didn't need that before. That can be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you have you considered try like now that not now that you're not working, have you considered college?
I don't know if it's possible at this point. I
Mhm.
still have children to raise, and we're scraping by on my wife's salary as it is. I don't even know if I'd be able to afford it.
Yeah, I can understand that. So let's talk about these kind of feelings. As I can tell, you're feeling really down. Your affect is kind of flat. You know what I mean? Not showing a whole lot of emotion. So, like, can you explain to me, like, what you're feeling right now?
Um, it's a weird mix of feeling like hopeless or helpless, right? Like I grew up in a household where you're the man, you take care of your family. And I've got no problem with my wife working. That was fine. Like that's fine. It was fine before when I was working, especially once the kids got older. But like now I'm not providing and I don't have any way to provide a substantial amount ease to ease our burdens without just like essentially wasting time. And that just really knocked me down a peg. Like what do I do now? Like am I even even worthy of this family anymore now that I can't provide? It's like hopeless. Like can't get a job, don't have the college degree. I have the experience, but uh, I'd have to waste more money and more time and make life even harder on my family so that I could get back to a job like what I know. And do I even want to go back to it? I just I don't know. It's a mix of confusion and hopelessness and yeah.
So I'm hearing a lot of stuff there. There's a few things I kind of want to tackle. Okay, so we're just gonna start with one, then we'll go through the rest of them. So, the first thing I kind of picked out of there was, um, you have some older fashioned values, where the man typically will be the breadwinner, or at least the like working and providing for the family. Did I hear that right?
Oh, you cut out at the
Just like,
beginning.
oh, did I hear that right? That you're like growing up, kind of some values where like man was the breadwinner, or like was the one working.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, man, not necessarily like the only one working, but like it was
Mhm.
expected that you
Have,
pitched did a
would it
large
be
part.
would it be too much to say that you feel a little like emasculated, or like
Yeah,
feel like less than
yeah,
a man?
yeah. I mean, that is, I definitely think a part of it, right? Like, it really took me down a peg, just like kind of twiddling my thumbs and looking at jobs I can't get or things I can't do.
Hmm. Now, you said that you're fine with your wife working. How do you feel that you're not working and your wife is?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like dead weight. just because like I don't know, like even if I'm at home and like doing things around the house, like I feel like before there was a certain standard of living that we both contributed to, so that we had, and like now I'm not contributing to that. So our standard of living has gone down, and all I can do is straighten up the living room and wash the dishes and
Mhm.
pick the kids up from school. Like,
So something I'm hearing here a little bit is like common gender roles that are kind of like ingrained in our society that um not saying anything like bad about you about like how you're viewing these things, but commonly um it can be expected for a wife or a mother to be at home while a father works. And now, even though that wasn't the case really before, or
mhm,
you both were working, of course, but now gender roles in society have kind of flipped for y'all because you're at
mhm.
home, you're houseworking, you're picking up the kids, taking care of the kids, which is a job really all in itself, while your wife is making money. Is that anywhere like on the mark?
I don't really think it's that so much. It's just that like it's not that I don't think those things are jobs or like legitimate things that need to be addressed, but I think like how do I say this? Like uh like the kids are at a point where like they are starting to become more independent, right? Like maybe like the scale of taking care of the kids isn't as much as it used to be, and so that and like that combined with the fact that like as we've raised our kids, we've taught them to do certain things themselves, like the scale of the housework isn't what it used to be. Then it feels like I'm I'm stuck, it's spinning my wheels, just doing things that like even before were taken care of by the both of us after work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
You
that's
feel like
not,
you're contributing less now.
yeah, right. Like before we'd still both take care of the kids, or we'd still both split up cleaning and cooking duties, and now it's just I do tiny cleaning duties during the day and nothing else, and my wife works, and then
Mhm.
she still helps out when she gets back, and I
So I feel like we're really minimizing here. You know what I mean? Like like you're minimizing your kind of worth as a man, a husband, and a father. You're even though it might not feel like it. You're it's more likely picking up more responsibilities at the house. You know what I mean? Even though the wife might help out a little bit, are you leaving much for her to do when she gets home?
I mean, I guess one of the side effects of like just like feeling like I'm not doing anything, that I try to do as much as I can, so I leave like almost nothing for her to do, but that
Hmm.
doesn't take up a large portion of my day, and then I just don't feel like
Hmm.
doing anything else. Or if I look for a job afterwards, like I look for a little bit and then just get discouraged right away, and then just kind of stuck there, like house clean.
So I can hear some little bit of sounds like a little bit of hopelessness in there. Is that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
mark?
yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty common to experience, these feelings of like depression and whatnot after losing a job in general after, you feel it's really easy to feel like you're not contributing as much, but when you just got to remember that, you're working with what you have, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see that, but I don't know. like part of me when I say that to myself, like when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Like that's the correct
Hmm.
attitude to take. But when I say it to myself, I feel like I'm somehow being disingenuous or missing the mark.
Now let's flip the roles here. Let's say, you and your wife were both working before. Let's say she had lost her job.
Yeah.
How would you feel about her basically being in your role? Like, she's taking care of the kids, she's cleaning house, but she's not um, providing any income. How would you what would your perspective of her be?
I mean, I don't think I would think any less of her per se. I mean, when the kids were younger, we definitely had like right after the birth or whatever that she stayed home quite a bit and we lived off my income and that was fine.
Hmm.
Um, she did a lot, she contributed a lot. So like her going back, uh, like I feel like I want to say that it wouldn't lower my opinion of her or affect how I saw her because things happen, so to
Yeah,
speak.
something I want to pick out here, and I'm sure you've seen it, is like you wouldn't think any less of her.
Yeah.
No one else would think any less of her. So why are you thinking less of yourself right now because of that? Same situation, just two different people.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I guess part of it is I don't know, maybe I just have a kind of like a higher estimation that my wife would be able to go back to work or do something productive with her time. Whereas I feel like I'm not able to go back to work. So I'll always be stuck here.
So that kind of it leads me into what I want to talk about next a little bit, but I can see it's just they're called cognitive distortions, right? Some scientific terms, like when we have these thoughts, but they're just kind of warped and mangled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he
Um,
said, I feel like if my wife was in this position, she would be able to do more. She'd be able to go back to work sooner. And really, you guys have like similar skill levels and everything. Like you're just as valid as she is,
yeah.
even if you're not having a job right
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see that. I mean, to be fair, yeah. I mean, she's a pretty cool lady. It's part of the reason why I married her. I
now.
guess
Hmm.
I could see how she probably wouldn't think less of me, just like I don't think less of her. But I mean, like maybe it was that way in the beginning, but right now I feel like some tension has rose. Like maybe there really isn't any way to like get a job, but I feel rushed. Like
Rushed. What do you mean?
like I feel like I need to get back to work like right now.
Putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess part of me kind of acts that way outwardly. It's feeling a little kind of, yeah, I guess irritable about it.
So if I remember right, we were talking about you looking for jobs, and you said you were kind of looking for the same type of job, right?
Yeah, I mean, just because that's what I know, and
Is
that's
what you
what
know. But you've run into an issue, right?
yeah, kind of a big issue.
That you need the college education, or they're requiring a college degree now for the same job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even though I've already done the job.
How does that make you feel that they're requiring, or how do you feel
Uh,
about them requiring that, even though you know how to do everything?
Full stop. It pisses me off,
Hmm.
and just I I feel like I have everything I need, right? I've worked my way up. I know these, this common chain that pops up in all these companies, and I've been a manager for a few years. So, like, why impose this requirement now? Like
Hmm.
whenever, what's somebody fresh out of college who's never been in the inside of a factory gonna do, or in the inside of one of these supply chains is gonna do, right? Like,
Yeah.
and talk to these dudes who've got like three kids at home and are working on an assembly line, right? They don't know how to manage these people.
Hmm.
What's some theory that some dude cooked up somewhere else gonna do for me? Like whenever I've been there and in it, and I know how to handle it.
Hmm. Sounds like a pretty big reservation that you know how to do the job. These young cats coming out of high school or coming out of college, all they got some classroom experience, some like technical knowledge, but you got the practical stuff.
Yeah,
Do you feel cheated?
yeah, I do feel kind of gypped, right? Like all my work for the past 10 years, 10 plus years is now deemed worthless because I don't have a scrap of paper and $80,000 worth of debt.
Worthless. Okay.
Worthless.
So, no, I wouldn't call it worthless. I mean, you did a good job for a pretty long time. You obviously
Yeah,
kept you around for something.
yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I personally don't think it's worthless. Like to me, it was a great experience. I loved working there, and it provided what I needed for my family and the ability to do things outside of work. But it feels like these other companies are saying it's worthless, even though like, like it's like someone called my favorite, I don't know, like my favorite song garbage, right? Like,
Something you hold pretty dear to yourself.
yeah, right. Like I love this song. The song's been with me forever. And now you're just gonna say it's a terrible song, right? Like I've done this work, I've done this job. Now you're gonna say, oh, your experience doesn't matter because you didn't add this piece of paper on top of it.
Hmm.
It kind of stings.
For sure.
Kind of
I can
stings a
understand
lot.
that something like that can be really hard to accept. You know what I mean? Um, I think sometimes we have to reach a point where we realize this stuff is outside of our control and just kind of let it be.
Yeah,
Now that's easier. That's way easier said than done. I can recognize that.
yeah. I mean,
But
I mean, I guess part of me can see it because I don't know. You want the most educated person you can have, right? You want a plethora of experiences. Like when I came up from the bottom to become manager, I had so many different experiences where I did different things and I understood every different level. So I was able to and understood the levels recently. So I was able to do things better than my predecessors who were so far removed from the lower levels of the job, haven't done them in a minute.
mhm. So you feel like you can be like a man of the people.
Yeah, I mean, I get the thought of changing things up and getting people with fresh outlooks and like I guess on
No,
a thought process wise, I understand it, but I don't like it. Well, I like it, but it hurts that whenever I'm not the one who's got the fresh ideas, I guess.
I think we're able to use these skill sets. You said you're able to put in the hard work, the dedication. You're able to, try to relate to the people and everything. I think you're able to use those skills and try to find another job elsewhere because that sounds like that's what we're going to have to accept, even though it's really not what we're preferring right now.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. I mean, to be fair, I did start working in that place in the back rooms, right? Doing terrible menial labor, and that's not what I wanted to do with
And,
life.
and that doesn't mean that just because you went from the very bottom to one of the top doesn't mean you have to start at the very bottom again. I understand. It's like, oh, now I'm starting all over. Now I'm doing this and
Yeah.
that. It's pretty easy. Do you feel like it sounds like kind of you're universalizing these job experiences that is like, well, I'm never going to find the job. Everyone finds something similar and want to start from the bottom.
Yeah. I guess maybe I shouldn't. I mean, I guess I knew other guys who got to managerial positions in different areas of the company using different routes than what I took. So I can't just say it's all cut and dry, all the exact same.
So while you might not start at the top like you were, don't mean you have to start from the bottom. You can use your experience because your experience can look very appealing on a resume,
Yeah.
you know? So you can go to these jobs, like make sure they don't require a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Look at these jobs and say, I want this position, and then maybe set a goal for yourself to start moving up.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that'll work. Yeah. Then I guess my only concern is like in the due time, what am I supposed to do with all this like irritation and like
Hmm.
how it's kind of put me at odds with my family. Because I do feel like I've been at the very least rushing myself.
Yeah.
That's kind of made me a butthead in some instances.
I feel like you're kind of like projecting it onto your family or displacing it onto your family.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to be mindful of it, but a lot of times I feel like it just slips.
Hmm.
Like, should it just be flat out? Might be. I'm sorry. Like,
Is there anything that you feel like you can do to try to let off some of that stress instead of like get angry or like target your family?
probably go for a run. I don't
Run
know.
some replacement behaviors. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah, I like to write. Might write.
We said right or run.
Right.
Oh, right. Sorry.
And I did say run as well. I said both. No worries.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use that writing. Not only is that going to let you put your feelings down on paper, but it's going to allow you to recognize and point out some of the emotions that you're experiencing, and you can understand yourself a little bit better.
Okay. Okay, I feel. I dig.
So that's something we can try for next week here.
Do both at the same time.
Yeah, you can use a voice to text
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
phone while you're running.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd get some real interesting session material out of that.
For sure. And so you can, if you don't feel like doing both at the same time, you could run during the day and write at nighttime when it might not be so appropriate to run.
Mm, true. Let's get a little bit sketchy out there at night.
Hmm. For sure. All
Mm,
right, man. Our time's come to a close, so I think this would be a good time to set some goals for the week.
yeah.
So we're gonna meet again next week, and some stuff that I want you to be able to do here. I'm gonna bring you home with a little bit of homework. Okay.
Okay.
I guess you're already home since we're on video call. No. um. So something I want you to be able to practice is gratitude. So I think you
Yeah.
could benefit a lot from that because you said you're feeling a little bit of hopelessness, irritability, like nothing's going to get better. So something I want you to do, like practice this, try to practice at least once a day, maybe when you wake up. I want you
Mhm.
to say three things that you're grateful for. Start with three things that you're grateful for.
So like grateful for my wife and how hard she's working. Grateful that my kids are keeping their heads on straight and
Hmm.
that my body's not falling apart at
Yeah,
the seams.
perfect. Absolutely perfect. If you come up, like, don't feel too pressured to come up with different things every day, but make an attempt to come up with some new stuff every day to be grateful for.
Okay.
Because hopefully, what this will do, especially if you do it in the morning when you start your day, hopefully what this will do is kind of train yourself to look towards the positive, and that's what your worldview will eventually look towards. Your initial reaction might start becoming positive.
I see. Yeah.
So is that something
Interesting.
you feel like you can do?
Yeah, yeah. 3 things in the morning, not a problem.
Yes, sir. And write a little bit in your journal, or write some stories.
Mm-hmm.
Go for runs. Maybe come back with a few things that you wrote. We can analyze them.
Okay. Sounds good.
Any questions or concerns for the session?
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming in.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out. Appreciate it.
For sure. See you next week, buddy.
All right, peace out.